This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
House university students studying in the area. All non-executive directors and the CEO of Moonlake Investments have today resigned en masse. It comes amid concerns over the proposed restructure of over 20 VDL dairy farms in the state's northwest. In a statement, Moonlake Proprietary Limited's Deputy Chair David Crean says proper governance arrangements were not being considered for the restructure, and the board could not convince the owner to take on recommendations for the future running of the business. The company says the restructure will not lead to a loss of jobs on farms. A Glenorchy resident has had a lucky escape after fire broke out in a family home around 4 o'clock this afternoon. Crews arrived to the Divine Road property after a neighbour called emergency services. The cause of the blaze is under investigation. As communities across Tasmania prepare for Anzac Day, a northwest town has unveiled 2 new memorials. One commemorates the 1 million Australians who have served our country overseas. The other is more personal.
Setting a new path for how we remember our servicemen and women. The Ulverston RSL sub-branch using a commemorative service to officially open its new Remembrance pathway.
We're using today's date, which is the 24th of April, because that's the 67th anniversary of the Battle of Kapyong in Korea. So we're using the Korean memorial here today as symbolic of dedicating all these memorials.
There are 10 rock memorials along the walkway. Each represents a different war.
To me, it warms the heart very, very much. You don't realise that there's been 10 conflicts. And to stand here today and see what they've done here in such a beautiful place, it really gets you in here.
The pathway is dedicated to the more than 1 million Australians who served for our country, in particular the 100,000 who lost their lives.
Anzac Park had always had some memorials to it from the different wars, but unfortunately they were always placed at the southern bank along the park, and people couldn't access them very easily.
The Remembrance pathway stretches 350 metres. It's been constructed here in Anzac Park in the hope people of all generations will come here to reflect.
The young men and women that went away to fight in these battles would have been 18, 21, and they're not here to see this today. I am at 88 years of age, and I remember them.
Also remembered today is Joseph Howard, an Ulverston man who served as an ambulance orderly in France during World War I. Until today, he's been in an unmarked grave, his family unveiling his new headstone.
My mum would have been so proud to have had it done. He's at rest properly.
Monica Dadson at Southern Cross News.
The bid to bring the iconic Tasmanian Tiger back to life might just be a step closer. The University of Melbourne team has released a special report detailing a successful sequence of an entire genome of a thylacine. The feat made possible by the discovery of a 4-week-old joey preserved in a different solution to other damaged specimens and found, of all places, in a dusty Melbourne cabinet. The report explains what now needs to happen to achieve the ultimate comeback. Though some are concerned, funding may be taken away from saving species currently facing similar extinction. For many who have served in the Defence Force fighting for Australia, Anzac Day can be a tough time of year. But a national organisation with a base here in Tasmania is supporting our diggers and their families with comradeship in an effort to help them regain a sense of normality.
Making wreaths before tomorrow's commemoration.
It's a really good way to reflect on what we're doing at the dawn service tomorrow morning.
For people like Michaela Gilovich, it's activities run by veteran support organisation Mates for Mates, which have been her lifesaver. The 27-year-old spent 3 years in the army before being medically discharged in 2012.
I lost my whole future. I had signed up for 9 years, but I wanted to stay forever, and then I got this injury and I couldn't do it anymore, and it was truly devastating.
Now she's again part of a community where she feels at home.
We're all here to support each other and to get better, and I think that's why it works.
The national organisation, with a Hobart branch, hosts activities for veterans and their families. Today offering a chat and a cuppa and this friendly game of cricket.
Social connection's the major thing. You want to be with people that understand what you may have been through, and you want that to be in a safe sanctuary space.
Instead of being unable to work or anything like that, you actually become involved with an activity with a group of veterans, and you're giving back.
David and Ricky share a similar story, serving in the army for much of their lives, a commitment leaving a heavy toll.
I couldn't go anywhere on my own, even though I had my sister's dog Buddy. It was just, it was too much for me.
But since joining, the pair have become friends and regained the camaraderie missing from their lives.
It's the programs as well as the people you meet.
It's like a family here.
The organisation says its door is always open to veterans who may be struggling. Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
The redevelopment of Launceston's Brisbane Street Mall is on track to be completed by September. The Federal Urban Infrastructure and Cities Minister and Launceston's Mayor turning the first official sod on site today.
Certainly what the federal government wants to see is Tasmania's cities, indeed cities all around the country, reaching their full potential so that they are attractive, vibrant places to live.
The $19 million City Heart project, which also includes the Civic Square and the Quadrant Mall redevelopment, is being funded by all levels of government. Retailers in the mall will remain open.
And I think most are on board, and they can understand that yes, there's going to be some short-term pain, but there's going to be a lot of gain at the end of it.
The Federal Cities Minister hopes a Hobart City deal will be struck by the end of the year. WorkSafe Tasmania has this year launched its new awards program in the hope it will help workplaces across the state become more effective in preventing workplace injuries. The decision to revamp the current program prompted by the death of 5 Tasmanians last year.
These apprentices are learning more than just their trade. WorkSafe Tasmania aiming to reduce workplace injuries and deaths by launching its 2018 awards program.
The awards are really about recognising workplaces in Tasmania and individuals within workplaces who are doing great things in safety and promoting that.
Since the program's initial launch in 1996, the number of injuries in the workplace has almost halved. But with 5 Tasmanians losing their lives at work last year, the number is still too high.
What we're really looking for here in Tasmania is to encourage workplaces and all workers within those workplaces to come to work every day safe and to go home as well as when they arrive.
Young workers are more prone to work-related injuries, and health and safety training is a priority for the students at TasTAFE.
It is a really important, valuable set of skills that will carry those young people and new apprentices through their entire apprenticeship and their journey on towards a career in the industry.
In terms of young workers, they're new, they're learning new skills, and they're entering into a fairly alien work environment, a workplace, potentially for the first time.
Critical that we ensure that the students are wearing appropriate PPE and that they understand the environment that they're working in.
The launch of the program is in preparation for Workers' Memorial Day, which will be celebrated on Saturday. Ruby Kamain, Southern Cross News.
For the first time in 6 years, a delegation of Tasmanian businesses are showing off our food and beverage at Asia's biggest international hospitality trade show. 9 businesses have travelled to Singapore for the 4-day event, which started today. Wine Tasmania hopes it will increase our export market.
Singapore is an important market for us. It's a relatively sophisticated market as far as wine's concerned, so Singapore offers quite a good opportunity for us.
Tasmania currently sells more than $120 million of produce to Asia each year. Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has closed higher as the Australian dollar hovers at its 4-month low and inflation remains below the Reserve Bank's target range. The ASX 200 index rose 35.6 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 76.1 US cents and 54.55 British pence.
It's always one of the most hotly contested TSL battles of the year, and the Tigers will come out with a big point to prove at home in tomorrow's Anzac Day clash. But standing in their way is a red-hot Glenorchy outfit who've been making easy work of the competition. With the Tigers Anzac strip paying tribute to the brave Tasmanians who made the ultimate sacrifice, both clubs are well aware of the significance of playing on April 25.
One of our past presidents from the Kingborough RSL come in tonight to talk to the group about the Fred House Shield.
As a playing group, they spoke about it briefly last night, and we'll go as a group to the dawn service.
Coming off a disappointing loss to Lauderdale on Friday night, the Tigers still look a ways off from setting the competition alight.
The competition's going to be so tight. They are important to win. At the end of the day, it was only round 3. It's our 3rd game together as well, so it's not panic stations.
While the undefeated Pies are yet to look challenged this season.
I don't think the guys are getting ahead of themselves. I think they understand what's made us successful in these first 3 games in terms of their defensive work rate. They understand there's no magic about what we're doing.
Kingborough will be without its most experienced head in Marcus Davies, who's expected to miss 2 weeks with a minor knee strain, as will Glenorchy's Reece Mott after this high hit on North Hobart's Michael Woods.
Because if the Tigers own the territory battle, they're a tough team to play against. We've got to be on song, through the contest.
The challenge is exciting from that, playing against those names and testing ourselves against that. So, if you can't get up for it, you're probably in the wrong game.
The match begins at 3 p.m. at the Twin Ovals. The Hobart Zebras are gunning for top spot on the NPL ladder after their promising start to the season hit a recent hurdle. The side take on fellow competition heavyweights Olympia in tomorrow's Anzac Day clash, with the Warriors also looking to turn things around. After being touted as the early season championship favourites, the Zebras were dished up a shock reality check in round 4, going down 5-0 to Kingborough.
Definitely something that we need to fix. It was a big wake-up call for all of us.
Olympia have had worries of their own of late, coming off a 2-0 defeat to Launceston City at home. But a win tomorrow would see them jump from 4th to 2nd on the ladder, while the Zebras have the opportunity to claim back top spot.
We feel that we need to be on the top of the ladder. We've got a squad, we've got a quality in the team, and I don't think so we should lose the games like against Kingborough.
They've got a point to prove, as do we. Both lost last week, so I'm expecting a very big game tomorrow. They'll come out firing, and so will we.
The Anzac Day clash kicks off at 3 p.m. at North Hobart Oval. Meantime, Richie Port will be out to defend his Tour de Romandie title tonight in Switzerland, with the Tasmanian to lead the BMC racing team over the 6-day race, which will prove vital preparation ahead of July's Tour de France, the race which almost ended Port's career in 2017 when he suffered a horror crash. And Launceston's Joe Bean and Peter Brooks have completed one of the most gruelling sailing events in the world, the 5,500 nautical mile Melbourne to Osaka yacht race, with the pair crossing the line second after 39 days at sea.
Good evening. Hobart, 22 degrees today. Launceston recorded 21, while Burnie had a high of 18 degrees. Flinders Island with 25 was the state's top temperature, just ahead of Strawn, Fingal and Campania on 24. We then dropped down to 19 at King Island, Smithton, Friendly Beaches and Lyawini. Bit of patchy rain did cross today ahead of a cold front. We can see that weak cloud band sitting ahead of the main cloud band, which is just off to the west. That front and attached surface trough is bringing extensive cloud from our west back up and over central Australia. Onshore winds along with a low brought isolated thunderstorms to southeast Queensland. Tomorrow, Tasmania sits between both fronts. A high pressure ridge extends over the southern mainland, the rest of the country affected by troughs of low pressure. West northwesterly winds at 10 to 20 knots, reaching 30 knots over western waters with swells below 2 metres. Strong wind warning for waters between southeast Cape and Sandy Cape. Anzac Day for Hobart, cloudy, a top of 20. 50% chance of rain for Geeveston, 19 the high and 18 for Bothwell and partly cloudy. Launceston tomorrow, partly cloudy and 19. 19 the top for Devonport. Possible shower there and partly cloudy for Cressy. For Burnie tomorrow, Possible shower and 18 degrees, 16 the top for Strawn with a few showers, a shower or two on King Island, developing, and 17 degrees. St Helens mostly sunny though, 20 the top, 20 also for Swansea and Orford. On Thursday, fine about the east with showers for most other regions before contracting to the west and far south. Those showers over the west and south easing by Friday afternoon, fine and partly cloudy weather for the rest of the state, and possible morning fog on Saturday, then a fine partly cloudy day. Sunny in Perth and for the far north of the nation. Partly cloudy but fine for Adelaide, Canberra and Sydney. Morning drizzle in Melbourne, a possible shower for Brisbane. 19 and cloudy in Hobart at the moment, 16 in Launceston, partly cloudy in Devonport and 16 degrees. An early start for many tomorrow, Joe. Let's hope the weather holds and I'll see you tomorrow night.
You sure will. Thank you very much for that, Merv. Before we leave you tonight, Tasmania has once again triumphed on a global stage. This time thanks to a unique Sheepway vodka. Hartshorn Distillery winning the title of World's Best Vodka at the World Vodka Awards. The coastal business is owned by Grandview Cheeses and focuses on reducing waste and using unique ingredients.
Well, it's made from sheep whey, so essentially I'm the first in the world to make it from a waste product of cheese making. So essentially turning waste into a vodka and now making a very good vodka.
This is the 4th award for the Tasmanian Distillery and likely not the last. And that's all from the news team for tonight. We'll see you a bit later with updates. Bye-bye.